Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode of 904 Fishing. Today I'm going to teach you how to make a rod holder for pretty cheap overall. I've kind of been experimenting with a bunch of different rod holders in the past. Thought about buying some, making my own, buying pre-made ones from other people, things like that. And I think I finally settled on a design that is cost efficient, works well, is easy to build. Anybody can make one with basic tools at home. So we're going to go ahead and get started with that, and I'll show you guys the process. I need some bolts and nuts. So these are the nuts that we get, these are the bolts that we get. So I'm going to get 6 of these to match the bolts that I'm getting. I'm sorry, the nuts that I'm getting. Yeah, 6, there we go. So we're going to get that, and then we got to go get the actual stakes. 6 and 6. I use 1/4 inch stainless steel. These are like 1 inch long, 1.5 inches long, something like that. I find that works out pretty well. So now we're going to go get the stakes. Alright, this is what I use right here. 4-foot, 14 gauge U-post right here. So these ones right here. I grabbed 2 of these. I made one with a 5-foot, but I didn't like it as much, so I'm just going with the 4-footers. If you want a shorter one, there's a 3-footer. I would suggest the 4-footer. So we've got all of our materials here. We're gonna check out and head home. Alright, so we are now out here. We've got our 2. I've got 2 with me, but I'm only gonna show you guys how to make the one. So I'm going to set this off to the side. Don't laugh at my destroyed workshop back here or I should say my makeshift workshop that is destroyed because I didn't clean up after last time like I should have, but I didn't. Okay, so what you're going to need again is some the metal stake that we got from Lowe's and the nuts. Get those 2, throw that off to the side. We're also going to need some PVC. What I use for PVC is 16 inches of Schedule 40 1.5 PVC, which I happen to have some, but for the total cost of this spike, I will be using a 10-foot section and then divide. I'll go over that at the end. Let me go get the PVC and we'll go from there. You can cut this pretty much however you want to. I'm going to be using an angle grinder because I don't have a PVC cutter, which is really overkill. I know, don't. Put this right here. We're going to measure it just enough so that we want to have 2 spots on the actual thing. I usually like to put one here, ignore the top one. So I will get my drill and my drill bits and drill into it. So now we've got both the holes that we need in our PVC pipe on both sides, and that's important, and I'll tell you why. Because we want to go ahead and put this in here, and then after we do that, we want to expand these holes so that we have the ones on the back. We were able to get to them, so I'll show you guys how we're going to do that here in a second. So now what I'm going to do is mark out where I want the bolts to go, and I've got an oscillating tool heel here. Good lord. All right, so I'm just going to kind of mark out how I want to be able to get into it. So I just want kind of a nice square, maybe a little bigger than that. We're going to go just a little bigger. There we go. Not pretty, but it'll do the job. Same thing up here. I'll show you guys why we need to do this in a bit. This is my design, by the way, so if you guys can find a way to improve upon it, by all means, go for it. We're going to cut these out real quick. Alright, so the whole reason we did that is we need to be able to get the bolts into this, and then we also need to be able to get a head in there. So we need to be able to do that number right there. So why is it not going in? That doesn't want to fit for some reason. There it goes. Alright, cool. And then we also need to be able to fit something else, but for right now, I'll show you guys where we go from here. What we're going to do is insert the bolts right through the metal until they poke out the other side, and I'll show you guys what it looks like on the bottom of the stake as well before I go any further. I just want to get these in here and start them, but this is why we needed the big square in case anyone was wondering. Alright, so we've got our our bolts going through here, and then we're just gonna screw the nuts on, start them. And this is all stuff, like I figured out how to do this with all stuff that I had on hand. If you guys don't have this on hand, Don't worry about it. I mean, you can pick it up pretty cheap. I got most of this stuff from Harbor Freight. So, all right. So what you're gonna do now is get a screwdriver of some sort or something to hold the one side while you tighten it. Doesn't matter how you do it. You just want to tighten it down. And I tighten it down hard enough so that the bolt goes into the PVC. And what that'll do is it'll make it flush so that my rod doesn't hit it. Yeah, that's pretty close. So my rod doesn't get caught on it when I'm putting the rod in the rod holder. There we go, pretty good. All right, so that's almost it for now. While I still got the cutter out, I'm going to show you guys how I cut the ends to make it sharp. Just flip. I'm actually going to make kind of a outline here. Don't have to be perfect, it's just got to be yours. We're going to get to cutting. Alright, so now we've got our metal to a point there, and I've got a grinding wheel. I'll probably clean that up. But there we go. So now we've got our metal to a point. Again, don't got to be pretty, just got to be yours. And now we're going to worry about flaring the tip, and that's where your drink comes into hand. Alright, so now what I've got here is a heat gun that I'm going to turn on to the highest setting. And I'm going to heat the PVC and go from there. All right, so I'm going to let that heat up for just a minute. You can see it's going to get nice, and I don't want to point it directly at the camera, but you can see it's going to get nice and orange there. So we're going to let that get warm, and then as soon as I feel that it's warm, I'm going to take my PVC, I'm going to gently roll it. Alright, now I'm going to take our trusty bottle from earlier. I'm just going to wall her out to the bottle. I'm sorry, the PVC. Just like that. Sorry, I'm not showing you guys very well, am I? I'm going to just kind of stretch it out. I like to put just a little bit of a dip right there, but gotta wait for it to cool down. Alright, so here's a perfect example. I don't really like this one, and I don't like how it came out. It came out kind of uneven. So I'm going to heat it up again, go through the whole process again, and try to get the tip more heated, and it'll form itself back up once it's heated. Watch. And this should be good. There we go. That's more of what I want right there. A nice flared tip to it. That's what the bottle's for. So you can use either the neck of the bottle or the bottom of the bottle. Either works. A nice little tip on it there. Flare it out a little more with the bottom. I'm saying, like right there, like right on this edge, I like to put a little bit more. Keep pressing down on it until it starts to cool. Those are helpful for this too, because I can kind of play with it without worrying about burning myself. Alright, then we're almost done. I gotta wait for this to cool, and then I'll show you guys the last step. Alright, so now it's cooled down a little bit. We're gonna take a sander with 100 grit sandpaper. We're gonna smooth out these edges right on here, because I don't like how sharp those are, and I don't want those damaging my pole or the felt around or anything on my pole. So we're just gonna smooth those out real quick. So again, not super pretty. It's not meant to be. It's just a quick, easy rod holder. So now I've got a rod holder with a metal spike. You guys saw me use these in my last video. I'll be doing a bigger demonstration on my next surf fishing video, but you got a metal spike with a tip on it for $7, and I'll go over that math in the outro. All right, so when it's all said and done, this really isn't costing you that much money. I actually overestimated when I said $7. It's actually only $6, and I'll show you my math. The 10-foot section of PVC is going to run you somewhere in the neighborhood of, like, the cheapest I could find was like $2.60 to $3. This is from Lowe's. I'm taking my prices. I'm taking the 10-foot section, timesing it by 12 for 12 inches in a foot, and then dividing it by 16 because that's the section that we use. You can get 7.5, 16-inch sections out of a 10-foot section of PVC. So that's only costing you 33 cents for this section of PVC right here. The nuts are going to cost you 38 cents, and then the bolt's going to cost you 46 cents a piece, and there's 2 for each of those, 2 nuts, 2 bolts. The 4-foot section of fence post is only going to cost you $3.58. This is all before tax, mind you. $5.98. So this is going to run you $5.98 after tax in the state of Florida. That's pretty good for a metal rod holder that I can put in with one hand, you know, rock it back and forth. It's really easy to put in, does not come out and knock the camera. That's fine. But anyways, hope this helped you guys. If you want a more in-depth kind of look through on everything that I did or how I came up with this, or you guys want to buy one, if you guys would be interested in that, shoot me a message and I'm sure we can work something out. Until next time, hope this helps. Fish on.